Okay, hi guys. So I am here to share my story of how I saved over $300,000 in 2.5 years when I was 25 years old. So I started when I was 22, and enough to, in that year at 25, I paid for my first gym, Fit 180, and paid for half of my wedding, and paid for part of my down payment on my house. So that's my topic, and just to give you a little bit of an intro, I am Julie Hong. I own 4 gyms here in Dallas. I started Fit 180 11 years ago, and another concept called LFT personal training a couple years ago. I've been training for over 15 years. I've done over 37,000 training sessions. I've sold millions of dollars in training. And I'm just telling you that just to let you know that I kind of know a thing or two by just being with so many people in such different dynamics with such different backgrounds, and just starting the business from nothing and not even knowing that I even wanted to own a business, starting out as a personal trainer, and kind of how it's crazy evolved to what it is now, which I'm pretty proud of. So, and it's awesome that today is International Women's Day, so this is pretty cool. I hope you'll be inspired by this and get some nuggets for yourself and whatever goals that you have, that concerns finance, since this is kind of about money and mindset of how I save the money. So I wanted to tell you why I'm doing these videos in the first place, and it's honestly to get over my fear of speaking in public or in front of a camera with no emotional feedback. So what always helps me is if you guys would do hearts and stars and whatever they have here on Facebook, and comment and just kind of give me some acknowledgement, so that I feel like I can do it, because I get kind of in and out of nervousness. So thank you, I appreciate it. And it really does help me. So and it helps me smile, because I forget to smile because I can be a very serious person, and I'm talking about something that's dear to my heart. I tend to be pretty serious. So my why was to get over the anxiety of speaking in public, and then the second thing is obviously to help more people. And I want to do this on my terms, and my terms are that if I am going to be doing this, I want to be talking about what I would talk about in my sessions or with my clients, or how, if I was telling my story, how would I tell it to a client? And I'm telling them because I'm trying to maybe help them believe more than themselves, or if I share a story about myself, that you might see something about you in that story, and the possibility for you in that story to get to your goals. So let's get started. I'm going to go through things like my light bulb moment, kind of the strategies, the technicals part, the mechanic part of where I put my money, how did I make it grow, etc. And then how I reevaluated my plan over the months, and how I stay focused, and how I stayed accountable, and what things I had to give up. So basically it starts, the background is I graduated college. I had a full volleyball scholarship, but I took out loans over the years to just live and have too much fun, like snowboarding trips and just living expenses and having way too much fun. So I ended up coming out of college, graduating college with a $50,000 school loan debt. Half of it was private loans, so they were getting 11%, and the other half was a 2.9%. So at the time in college, I was living in an apartment on campus, and these 2 girls lived there, but I lived in their living room, and I lived pretty low. At that time, I was probably spending about $13,000 a year on my living expenses. And when I graduated, I thought, oh yeah, another good story is that for all these people that think that I'm actually good because I have a finance degree, I'm actually not. Funny story is that when I was an adolescent, in high school, my mom had opened, or middle school, my mom had opened a bank account for all of us, my sisters, and mine closed with zero activity, and it only had $20 in it, and it was the $20 that my mom put in it to start the account. And then my sister Tina, who's really good with money, she had she's younger than me, and she had like thousands of dollars saved up, and then my sister Crystal had thousands of dollars saved up. Mine closed with zero activity. I, as a kid or babysitting and working, I always worked, but I only worked for just enough for what I needed, and then as soon as I got the money I needed to, and I would just spend it. And so I was not a saver. I just worked just enough. I mean, my mom would call me lazy. I would work just enough to get what I wanted, and then like not work anymore after that. So it come, and I'm telling you that just because I don't want you to think like I've always been really good, you know, about saving and stuff like that. So anyhow, so the light bulb moment. So I've been training at this point for maybe 6 months or so of just training independently full time. And I was really good at it once I got in, like once I wasn't doing this other job and then training part-time. And I was good as a part-time trainer, but this was the first time that I was independent. I was training full-time where it was like all me and I could focus all on that. I wasn't in school training. I wasn't doing something else that took all my focus. So find out I was pretty good at it and I really liked it, and it was really natural for me. I could train a lot of hours in a row and I really feel good. The only thing was I would get like hoarse, like I would talk too much all day, but I really enjoyed that. So part of why I'm telling you is just because I found something that I literally, you know, could do all the time every day, and I really enjoyed it, and it really fulfilled me. So basically I found my passion. So the light bulb moment was when I was training, and a client was saying, so when are you going to have your own gym? Like, when are you going to open your own gym? Well, at the time, I just graduated school. I mean, like, I'm trying to pay my bills. My school loan's in effect. I didn't even think like I could like have a gym, or I didn't see myself that way. I came from really, really humble beginnings, Section 8 housing, lived in poverty till I was 8. It just didn't process, you know? So when a client, and a couple clients at the time were just saying, oh, when are you gonna open your own gym? And I was just like, oh my gosh, they see me this way, so I guess I should see myself that way, or I should start acting like it, because I just never saw myself that way. So that was so like such for me a light bulb moment, like how I felt like if they saw that in me and I don't see that in myself, like maybe I should believe them, because it was coming up, you know, every few clients would like, so when are you gonna do your own thing, or when are you gonna have your own gym? And I'm just like, okay. So that was like the seed that was planted, right? And so when that seed was planted, I still didn't think I was gonna like have my own gym. I mean, maybe my own business, maybe out of this gym I was renting out of. I didn't really think anything bigger. But what I did know is that if I wanted something like a house or like a gym or like my own business, I would have to start saving. So it just goes to show you, like, I had no idea what I was saving for, but I knew that I would have to have skin in the game. So like I thought if I was gonna go to a bank, the bank's gonna be like, where's your money, you know, like where's your deposit, or where's your skin in the game? So that's when I got more serious. Like, okay, if I'm gonna do something like this, or I want something more, then I have to have skin in the game. I have to have some sort of risk. So what I did was I just started getting more serious about work. So I started doing calculations, and this is for me very fun. Like, I'm, you know, doing, okay, if I train this many times, if I did this many hours, you know, and I would just start punching these numbers. And I would bring the goal down to where it sounded like feasible, like, oh, I could save like $1,000 a month. And then I started that very low goals that I just wanted, my basic thing was just to start saving. So what I did was I started punching all those numbers in. I'm like, okay, I'm going to start doing this. And it got really serious, because after I had like a couple $1,000s and I was still, you know, like I could do it. It wasn't that hard. I then became really strategic, because I got addicted to the accomplishment and the process. And I was like impressing myself, you know? So, at that point, I was training probably like 60 hours a week or more. I mean, I was training 14 hours a day. And I trained on Saturday and Sunday would be my 10-hour days. So every hour was booked. I had clients pay me 3 months in advance so that I could bank that money. So I would have clients pay me 3 months in advance. I would take that money, put that money in a money market account that was at the time online, which nobody was doing, but I was doing research, and I saw that there was like a couple money markets accounts that were getting like about 5% or a little bit more than 5%. So I would put my money in there on automatic like draft there to save, and I would have the clients pay 3 months in advance, and then I had a 20-person waiting list to train with me. And so I was thinking, okay, how can I get more money to be like compounded interest, right? And how can I get them to have skin in the game? If they're going to wait on my waiting list and they're going to wait 2 months, to get on, what is going to keep them on? Okay, so I had asked for 1 month in advance. So all people waiting on my waiting list would pay 1 month in advance, and which was a lot of money to train. We're at the time was charging around $85, $100 a session. So I would bank that, and then as I saw that happening and it was growing, and I would get like hundreds of dollars like kind of free in a money market account like each month, I thought, okay, that got me even more hooked, right? So so some of the strategies, that was one of the strategies. Another strategy is that I lived really, really, really low. Like I lived over a part of Dallas where there was like a nightclub behind the apartment complex. I would never go home before after 9 p.m. because it was dangerous. And I lived on the 3rd floor because they gave me a cheaper rate, and it was like a studio apartment. I was paying $355 a month. And I don't think if my parents knew I was living there, they would not approve of it. But I mean, I took safety precautions. I didn't go home after a certain time. And if I was, if I felt like concerned, I'd be on the phone calling somebody just to make sure they knew that I was safe. And my car payment was really low. I didn't do my nails, which, I never do with training anyways. I occasionally got a pedicure, maybe 3 times a year. I cut my hair once a year, and I went to Great Clips to cut my hair with a coupon. So it ended up, instead of a $16 haircut, I ended up getting a $7 haircut. I did my own eyebrows. I threaded my, face myself. I didn't have really much time or want to spend time on doing my makeup, so I got my makeup down to like a 5-minute routine. I wore the same outfit, not the same outfit, but the same type of outfit. So basically back then, Juicy Couture sweatsuits, this is going to age me, but Juicy Couture sweatsuits were really in. And I had bought maybe 10 suits, and that's kind of like the only thing I really spent money on, and they were expensive, but I had bought those 10 suits or 5 to 10 suits, and that's all I wore. So every day when I woke up, I wore the same tennis shoes and then a different sweatsuit, and it got like the whole figuring out what to wear. I never went shopping. I saved time on not shopping. I saved time on not figuring out what I'm going to wear. And since I trained 14 hours a day, so I started at 6 a.m., I'd end my last session would be at 8, I get out at 9, that I basically demonstrated reps every hour. So every client, you have to demonstrate at least 2 to 4 reps, right? And sometimes the clients, a lot of times, they might need you to kind of do it with them because they don't feel that motivated, or you kind of got to get them going. So I was so active all day long, I didn't take out time to go work out on my own. I actually built it into my day, or it was already built into my day. And I packed my lunch every day. I ate sandwiches, and I ate canned green beans with tapatio on them. I know I wasn't like the healthiest, but I was like focused on the goal, and I was active. But at the time, I didn't know more about nutrition. So that's some of the other strategies. And anywhere I could get free food, I would get free food. So I would never go out. I never went out, rarely went out. If it was a Friday night, maybe I got out at 8 p.m. You would find me at Barnes & Noble sitting in the the business aisle or the finance aisle or the self-help aisle or the spiritual aisle, and I would be reading the books on the one on Northwest Highway and 75 across from North Park. I would be sitting in the aisles reading the books and actually bookmark them, but then put them back and then come back the next week or the next couple of days and then continue to read them. And I would have my lunch, my food bag in the aisle, laying down in the aisle, camping out. And I'd probably stay there every Friday or Saturday, Sunday nights, anytime I had opening reading for hours, maybe till midnight or so. And so that, I sacrificed a lot. I didn't hang out with a lot of people. I really didn't see my family that much. And I started dating Shane at the time. So I did find time to date here and there, so at least maybe one date a week. And luckily early on when I started dating, I, got lucky and found my husband now. So, after that, we really didn't go out that much. I would want to spend my nights like either working, because after I would train till 9, I'd have to do the scheduling, the billing, answer food logs, and whatever other emails that clients had. I just focused all on that. I didn't get that much sleep. I probably didn't wash my face every night before I went to bed. I just tried to be as efficient as possible. I wouldn't even have a lunch break. I would just eat something on the floor, but do it in a very tactful way that they wouldn't even be bothered by it, and still bring the quality of sessions. And I just stay focused on getting results and changing their lives. Like every hour I just was present, and I would figure out, how do I serve this client? And if I serve this client to the best of my ability, then everything will work out. Things will come, more clients would come, and more waiting lists, and just more things would happen. So banking money away at that time, looking at, I'm getting like $800 interest, $1,000 interest every month. I'm also living super, super low within my means. At that time, I was probably living like, I don't know, maybe, $25,000 a year. And I was making maybe like, $150 or something as a trainer. And, as an independent trainer that worked their butt off. And so, I got so busy, and then I added, I hired my first person, which was my sister, and really at the time was just like to spend more time with my sister, to kind of get her in a new direction of career, and to open, just to help out and do something that was more in line with I love working with my family. I just wanted to, help in that way. So my sister at the time was in college, and she would give me some hours to work part-time. I taught her how I train and what my mindset is and what we do, and then that worked. And so I brought another trainer on, and I was basically had 2 or 3 trainers out of the training place that I was renting from. So those are some of the strategies, and how I like reevaluate the process. So when I am focused on a goal and I'm trying to accomplish it, I get super obsessed, okay? And I also can get very distracted, or you can also get really distracted. So what you need to do is avoid those distractions, but have built-in accountability. So everywhere, when I was trying to save this $300,000, I didn't even know it was $300,000. Just by the time, 2.5 years when I went to look at, I looked at the bank account, it was like $300,000. I felt like I had a goal. I wanted to open my gym at 25. So it just kind of unfolded that way. So point of that is, you don't have to know exactly what you need or want to do, right? You don't have to have the exact goal, but you need to be on that path. And because things will unfold, people will be in front of you, like there will be people in front of me or telling me things that I'm like, oh, whoa, I needed to hear at this point in my journey. Or things will get much more clearer, but you're on that right path. So at that point, what was I saying? Okay, so how I reevaluate. So every month I have it on my calendar reminder, like I need to reassess my strategy, right? So I would look at the bank accounts. I would look at what I'm spending in rent. I would look at what I'm spending in food. I would look at what I'm spending in all areas, and then go, okay, where can I get better? So so one example is maybe at the first year I was dating Shane, we were pretty serious from the beginning. Like I knew I was going to marry him. So I don't know if he knew it, but I knew it. So anyways, he like maybe the 8-month mark or the year mark, or it was the 8-month mark. Be honest, I don't know if that's best for everyone, but at the time, at the 8-month mark, I felt like he was pretty committed. I was committed, and I also wanted to save more money. So, and my lease was coming up. So I decided that, I was going to move into his 2-bedroom apartment. And so, if you know me, I'm pretty straightforward, and I don't sugarcoat. It's very hard for me to sugarcoat, but I'm trying to be more tactful. I basically said to him, okay, look, I'm going to move in with you. And I was big on not being independent. So I was like, okay, I'm going to move in with you, but don't think you have any control over me, because I have enough money in the bank to get another apartment next door. So you're going to pay up for all the rent like you would anyways, and I'll help you with some groceries. And so he was fine with it. And I said, I'm only telling you that because I'm trying to save for a gym. So I would be very transparent with him and say, hey, I'm trying to save for a gym. So when we would go out, let's say we go to the grocery store and pick up some stuff, I would go, hey honey, will you buy me this? And he's like, yeah, just put it in there. And then we go to like some other store. I'm like, hey, will you buy me this shirt? And he's like, yeah, that's fine. He's like, he's like, I'll get it for you. Like, just, why are you always asking me? I go, I'm just telling you, I'm trying to save for a gym. Otherwise I would pay for it myself. But if you said no, then that's fine too. So, I would always, be focused on, I'm saving for a gym. I'd even write it on my freaking hand. Okay. Like with a pen. It would be on my refrigerator. It'd be on all my scheduling books. It would be on my computer, wherever it was saving for a gym. Okay. And that's how I stay focused. And every month I would reevaluate. So that particular month I was able to save like, $355 for my rent because I moved in with Shane. And then I end up spending, a little bit. The only money I would spend is the grocery money, which is an additional $100 if I was going to add to like the family, or like the couple thing. So another thing is how I stayed focused. I just mentioned, I just had it everywhere. It literally was my alarm. Sticky notes everywhere. You're saving for a gym. You're saving for a gym. I would look at my bank accounts every single day, maybe multiple times a day, and I would do calculations all the time. And I pretty much get obsessed with any goal I have. So this particular goal had to do with saving money, so I'm like all in on that. But I always still try to maintain balance, and either I try to infuse it into what I'm doing, or I talked about in my last video how I do self-checks, like meaning every month I'll just go, okay, how's your mind, how's your spirit, how's your body, how's your eating, and I would, with what I knew at that point, I would just, readjust if I felt like I was too tired, if I felt like, and now I worked every single day for 2.5 years, right? So if there are days where I felt maybe tired or something, I might have, luckily, it always worked out. Somebody, maybe my last 2 clients would like cancel last minute, so that, and then I was really concerned with my energy level. So I always wanted to make sure I had energy. And so I always just made sure I ate every 3 to 4 hours. I was just doing my passion. So I had a lot of energy, and then I had a lot of goals. So I rarely got sick. I have like things that like, I never touch my face when I'm training. I always wash my hands in between. I thought of everything I could to kind of get milk every minute of my day possible. But I had to kind of, I tell you that I started off with the strategy, and it just evolved every month as I rechecked myself, right? So you don't have to have all the answers up front. You just need to start, and you just need to have your goals so low that you can crush those goals, and then move the goal as you go. I think we all make a mistake by trying to go, I want to lose 40 pounds, or I need to save $300,000. If I thought like that, I would never have started. And that's what I want you guys to learn and know. And like, I always start with goals that are just so easy that it's like a joke, like so easy. And so that was how I stayed focused, and then I reevaluated, and then holding myself accountable. I literally told everybody that was in my path or that I ran into, I was saving for a gym. Like, I could be in Starbucks and talking to somebody, and they're like, what's going, like, knowing more about me? And I would just be like, I'm saving for a gym. So I put that out there in the universe, and if I put it out there and I say it, I'm a person that does what they say they're going to do. So once I put it out there, I am too proud or too embarrassed to fail, or it's my fear if I don't do what I say I'm going to do, because that's like my biggest like thing. I got to do what I say I'm going to do. And some of the things to remind you towards the end here is that what I gave up. So I didn't drink maybe 1 glass of wine maybe a week, maybe, and that might be on that date that I went on, but I didn't drink because I felt like that would hinder my performance at work. I spent Friday, Saturday nights in my 20s. Now, mind you, I was 22 years old, okay? So everybody around me had just graduated college, and everybody was partying, everybody was dating a lot, everybody was just having fun, and I wasn't doing that. I was just had to either stay away from it, not see it, and I wouldn't get on. They had Facebook at the time too. I wouldn't get on Facebook. I wouldn't get on because I just needed to stay focused. And sometimes you just need not to be distracted. And sometimes you just, if you tell your friends you're trying to do something, or your family you're trying to do something, and say like, you might not see me because it's more like me, I got to stay focused, then they'll understand. And if they don't understand, it doesn't matter, because you're living this life for you, and you got to do what makes you proud, and that what you can wake up in the morning and be happy about, and be in line with your values, and not making other people happy. So I gave up that drinking, I mean, I didn't drink that much anyways. I didn't hang out with my friends, no days off, no vacations, not a lot of balance, to be honest with you. But I knew that I had enough balance that I wouldn't get sick or I wouldn't get exhausted and I wouldn't hate my life, right? So, I got massages when I needed to because of what I was feeling. I didn't get them all the time because they would kind of mess up the budget. Or I would do like foam rolling myself, or I'd stretch myself, or I'd find 10 minutes of breathing myself. So I was just every month evaluating where I was, emotionally, because the whole journey is what's really important. And if you're like miserable the whole time, then it's not even worth it. You really have to enjoy the process and the journey, and you really have to constantly visualize how proud you'll be when you do accomplish it, and how proud you'll be because you're doing this hard work, and what a great story it might tell. Whatever motivates you to visualize, to stay on course, and whatever, I had to read or listen to or stay distracted by, I wanted it all to be positive, and I only wanted to be around people that were like pushing me towards my goal, and that's kind of like how that all happened. So I hope you got some good nuggets and some information on how, what all it took and the sacrifice it took. But I did sacrifice like 20 to 25 to save the money, and then I signed the lease for my first gym a week before I turned 26, which my goal was to have a gym at 25, and I did. And in that same year, my gym was opening in December. I signed a lease in July. And that same year, I put a down payment on my first house, and I paid for part of my wedding. And the sacrifice was this: like, I could spend more money on my house, and I could have spent more money on my wedding, but I didn't because I wanted a gym, and that was my goal at that time. And so, who would have thought, 25 first gym, 27 second gym, 29 third gym, baby at 31, the baby at 33, another concept, LFT personal training in Plano at 34. And, right now the business is evolving. You're constantly going to work hard, but at least it's always fun and challenging. All right. So, I say just stick to it. Start small with some super, super, super easy goals, like a joke kind of goals. And that will create momentum. And don't take all the distractions out if possible, or take most of it out. And just, look at your goals every day, every night, where they are. And then just sit there and take like a minute just to envision, how you would feel once you accomplish it, and how you would be so proud of yourself, all the work, and how hard it is now, but how good it's going to feel once you accomplish a goal. And at that time, it could have been anything for me, and I think maybe it's that athlete mentality in me, like, I just want to do better and challenge myself. And so anyways, I hope this helps you. Please just, keep pushing the hearts, and whatever you can give me thumbs up, I would really appreciate it, because this is still hard for me to do, but I hope that it helps you, and I hope that you, get started on some goals and make very, doable, like, what do you call those, marks, So anyways, have a great day, and I hope to see you soon, or I'll be on next week or the week after with another good topic. Thanks.